Good morning, everybody. It is Canary Islands Connor here, back again with another video this morning. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. Please make sure you're liking the content. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. And of course, make sure you're checking out all the bonus features we have when it comes to merchandise. All your summer gear is available. Link in the description below, everybody. We've got a weekend of football coming up. SofaScore. Link in the description below, everybody. With the One Leeds affiliate link, you get a couple of little bonuses in there, which is really nice, and it's free. Quicker than live score, quicker than BBC updates, quicker than flash score. Well worth it. Alongside that, we have Patreon. We also have YouTube memberships. You can hit the join button. All these links are in the description below it. All the proceeds go to helping the channel, so shout out to you all. Okay, so Leeds United's awards were last night. Good to see those happening. I remember back in the day when Leeds' awards were, and the first one I ever saw was when it was Kuhl, Bowyer, Decor, Viduka, and they were all getting together at the awards, and Leeds had just a tremendous season. I think they'd finished third. It was like either 0-0 or 0-1. And yeah, Leeds were on just like this trajectory to great things and all this sort of stuff. Obviously next year came the Champions League semi-final. But yeah, and that's what I sort of remember from these sort of end of season awards. And it feels like we're getting to a bit more of a good place when it comes to Leeds United, that these are becoming a little bit more of a bigger thing. So that's all positive. It looks like it builds a little bit of camaraderie as well, in my opinion. You know, you see the lads there. Do they have a few drinks? Who knows? But fans can get there, fans can interact. I'd have been there, actually, if it wasn't for holiday and all that sort of stuff. So I was definitely going to try and get down there, and unfortunately couldn't do so. But yeah, it looked like it was a real good event. Bamford obviously got his award for pretty much goal of the season. Obviously there was conversations with the trio, Luke Ayling, Stuart Dallas, Liam Cooper, in terms of almost like lifetime awards. Chris Summerville getting obviously player of the year. But yeah, it was really good to see. And in the light of that, we've heard Fabrizio Romano actually talk about Chris Summerville's contract to Give Me Sport the other day, and saying that Leeds United are wanting to sit down with Chris Summerville, whatever the outcome is at the end of the season, and hopefully get him to sign a new contract. And once again, if you actually listen to Chris, such an articulate boy, and he was speaking last night about, at the end of season awards, about how much he loves Leeds, essentially. I'm paraphrasing, but how they've given him his chance. You know, you look at his career, really. First team, he's only really played in the first team when he was 16 years of age. So now he's been getting regular minutes. He didn't really get regular minutes in the Premier League, and obviously the season before that, and before that with Bielsa. But now he's been getting those minutes that have really elevated him to that next level. And Leeds have been a massive part of that. Of course they have, because we've stuck with him. We've given him his chance in the Premier League, where he put himself on the map with goals against Bournemouth and Liverpool. And now he's been able to really build as a young, superb talent. And he's probably going to have a lot of clubs on his radar. There's conversations this morning, apparently, that Newcastle are looking at him. There's conversations that Liverpool are looking at him. And Fabrizio Romano goes on to say that it's going to be a very, very difficult summer for Leeds United with regards to Cree and keeping hold of him. And, you know, is it likely? I mean, I don't see how in any way, shape or form it is likely. Would he sit down and sign a new contract, which would then mean that other clubs have to essentially raise the fee for Chris Summerville? I don't see why he'd do that, how that's going to play to his advantage either. So I think it's got to be one of those things where we've got to take into context and apply a bit of realism to it, and I can't really see that happening regardless, really. We get to the Premier League and we're going to be able to demand a hell of a lot more from him. Maybe we'll have him for a season, which could definitely happen in the Premier League. But is it likely that we keep him for 2, 3, 4 years? Well, depending on how he does in the Premier League. You know, he might get to the Premier League and it might be a flop. Who knows? And that's something else that we need to consider when we're looking at these things. You know, Jorginho Rutter, Summerville, a prolonged period for Willie Gnonto. These young players, would they thrive in the Premier League? Archie Gray in there as well. Obviously, we heard the other day that Bayern Munich are constantly tracking him. You know, they've had scouts over in the UK watching him for the best part of a year, according to several sources close to Plettenberg in Germany. So, yeah, listen, we're in for a big summer, and the beauty of it is, if Leeds get to the Premier League, we've got, because we're on this global sphere all the time. I always talk about this, but because we're always in the public eye, we're always spoken of, we're always on Sky Sports, you know, we're always on TNT, we're everywhere really. I think it's always really important to look at, you know, how how that affects the club's run. And I think a lot of exposure is to Leeds United on that front. So, you know, when we're running and we're doing so well, top of the league, all this sort of stuff, a lot of our bigger players are being put through to being bigger players by being on Sky, being spoken about all the time. The notoriety is huge. And I think Leeds have had that with a lot of the youngsters this season. So if we remain in the Championship, I honestly believe all of them go. I think a lot of them go. Archie would also be in that pool as well. We have to get that money back, you know, the money that we owe, 73 million quid as of summer. So we somehow have to pay that sort of stuff, the sort of finance back. There's probably more as well when you look at the accounts that Leeds are going to have to owe by the end of the year. We also know that the JKA saga crippled Leeds a little bit when it came to financial expenditure. We can't keep going with that. We can't keep appealing. We can't keep saying that's an active law case when we're in the Championship and the fees are just astronomical. And the 49ers will know that. But getting back to the awards last night as well, Liam Cooper was talking about his future at Ellen Road, and I found this quite interesting. He was, if you've read the quotes, I'm going to obviously paraphrase, I don't have them at hand, but he was essentially saying that if Leeds were to offer him something, then he'd be more than happy to essentially extend. And he's a boyhood fan, Cooper. We know he is. He's a big fan of the club. He's club captain as well, which is something we have to take into consideration when we're looking at his future. And there's probably a lot of fans there who would turn around and say he's still got a lot to give. There's still a lot to add here when it comes to his time at Leeds United. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I think there has to be a bit of a new era. We've seen with Stu that he's retired. Luke's doing well at Borough, but is his time at Leeds United over? You would suggest so. You're hoping he's had a word in the boys' ears, the Borough boys' ears on Monday, and hopefully we're going to be able to, I don't know, somehow go there and beat them. I mean, we've got it in our locker, haven't we? But it's all about just him slipping those little, I don't know, those little notes in there and those little understandings that you know, Borough can, you know, we can latch on to certain Borough weaknesses and all this sort of stuff. So hopefully Agent Luke's done us a favour there. But him, Stu and Liam, it feels like the perfect time for them to bow out as a three, really. And it was just, I found it quite interesting to hear last night that he was talking about, look, if Leeds were to want me to stick around, then great. I mean, potentially is there a coaching role? He's only 32 years of age, but even in the Championship, I think we've seen this year that he's just miles off it. He's obviously had a good game against Watford at home, but once again, I didn't feel that he had to do much in that game. I think when he's been called upon this season as almost like a must in big games, I think he's really struggled. Willie Gnonto was also speaking recently about the player that has helped him the most with his time at Leeds United this season. Said he's been through really difficult phases and he's had help with likes of Ethan Ampadu, Liam Cooper, but he almost his key man has been Crees Summerville, which once again is great. And maybe Crees had more of an impact. That was going on there. More of an impact than we actually think. Potentially, who knows? Maybe a little bit of a responsibility figure as well when Willie was going through a lot of the rubbish, which he was doing at the start of the season, which was, you know, a lot of fan backlash. It was backlash as well, publicly, from Daniel Farke, and maybe Crees Summerville was almost that guy who put his arm around Willie Gnonto, which you wouldn't expect from Crees. There's still people who question his attitude. I've never understood that. I don't get it. Question his training. I don't understand that either, to be honest with you. We don't know what's going on in the camp, and I think Crees Summerville has been nothing short of exceptional for Leeds. He's Leeds' best player. I think Rutter's been a huge impact as well, of course he has, but I still think Crees Summerville, without him, would be in big trouble this season. Without Rutter, I think we'd be in big trouble as well, but maybe that load could have been lightened with, I don't know, a more permanent role in there for a Joe Gelhardt or a Joel Peru or a rotation in tactic, who knows, but I think Crees Summerville is that gold, you know, in that sort of duel, really. So it's going to be fascinating to see, but it was great to see Luke there last night, and hopefully he's just slipping some information to the Leeds players about what these Borough players are like and the weaknesses and all this sort of stuff. But listen, it's Friday, it's the eve of the weekend, and it is a huge weekend for Leeds United. Another pivotal one now. We were speaking about 8 games not long ago. It's now down to 3. And, you know, by next week, it's going to be 1 game left of the Championship season, which is absolutely nuts. Where will Leeds United lay? Will it be the Premier League? Will it be the Premier League via the playoffs? Or will it be the Championship, you know, via the playoffs? Hopefully not, but pivotal weekend. It feels like right now, especially with me, here I am in Gran Canaria, it really feels like it is the calm before the storm, and there is no better place to get through the storm than here at One Leeds, everybody. So stay with me. Back tomorrow, I think it is. It's tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. And we'll have loads of content for you over the next week. It's been an absolute pleasure, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. As I said, check out the merchandise for all your summer gear. It's coming back around, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.